Hello everyone, welcome to this session. In this session we are going to look at the scoring guide, okay, for the UNEB papers for ICT, and specifically we are starting with UNEB paper 1. Okay, in our previous session we looked at the UNEB paper, but we didn't look at its responses or the answers. So I want us to use this session and look at least the response for item 1 in paper 1. Okay, without wasting time, I think I should take you to the sample paper. We'll look at the question, then we can come back to the solutions. Okay, we are saying the examination consists of 2 sections, A and B, and has 3 items. A is compulsory. So let's go for A and we see how we can reply to it. Okay, this is it. In section A, they are saying Tiana presented a project proposal before the project's committee at the school, but unfortunately it was not approved because her presentation was not clear, was not engaging or appealing, and had insufficient information. This was largely because she had used an application with limited design features, only had access to manual sources of the information. Then the committee recommended that he should improve her presentation, share the PDF, okay, with the committee, and a copy of her physical file, plus scheduling a meeting, a virtual meeting with the members of the committee. Then, while editing her proposal, the computer abruptly shut down without her saving the changes. On turning it back, it displayed the image as shown below. The image reads that your PC ran into a problem and now it needs to restart. We are just collecting some error or information, then we will restart for you. She tried restarting several times, but it failed, which caused her to panic, fearing that she might lost her work. Okay, yet she does not know how to proceed and therefore needs the guidance. These are the tasks the student is supposed to do. A, you are supposed to assess Tiana's situation and advise her on how to get her proposal approved. Then B says you analyze the Tiana's computer behavior and advise her on how its current situation and the future challenges can be addressed. Okay, that's the question clearly. And as you can see, the pickup points from this question starts from, if you can see, starts from her presentation was not clear, okay, was not engaging, was and all appealing, okay, and had some insufficient information. Then used the application with limited features, okay, which had only manual sources of the information. Okay, another one is the PDF copy, then the physical file, okay, schedule virtual meeting, as you can see, then abrupt shutdown of the computer, okay, without saving. Then I think we can also go and look at another challenge, okay, which is another challenge, which is here. She tried restarting the computer several times, but it failed. Okay, it failed, which is here, as you can see. Okay, as you can see. So that is it generally. Then we are supposed to assess the situation. How will I assess this situation? I want to see how I can help Tiana, okay, and get advice how I can get her proposal approved. Okay. Then later I want to see how I can now handle Tiana and analyze the computer behavior and advise how the current situation and future challenges can be addressed. So, for those 5 minutes, that was understanding the question. Let's go to the assessment. This is the scoring guide, and we see. They are saying that for sure, what a student was supposed to do, a student is expected to assess the situation and suggest necessary tools with their functions in addressing the challenges in a scenario. Another one, you analyze the computer problems and describe steps to troubleshoot the computer challenges in the scenario. Then you describe the maintenance practice to keep the system in good working conditions. Down here are the sample responses. Okay. For example, here they are saying Tiana's presentation had several challenges, include not being clear, engaging, and appealing, as I showed you. It also had information and program used to do her work, which had limited features. Then, thus Tiana used various tools to improve her proposal so that it can be accepted by the committee. These tools help her to make the presentation more attractive, informative, professional, and suitable for both physical and virtual training. So we are now suggesting the tools that he should use. Tool number 1, we expect Tiana to use a computer or a smartphone. Okay, can be used as a platform whereby we are going to do the editing, the storing, and maybe the presentation of this proposal. Okay, it is the same device that he can be used to join. Okay, virtual meeting, can use to join, do projects, committee through online platform. Using, for example, online platform can be Zoom, Google Meet. Then you can also have Microsoft Teams. Okay, and additional can access learning materials online and communicate with community members through the email or messaging applications. So that is the tool that we have now aired out that is going to help Tiana, okay, to come up with a better proposal and can make her proposal being approved. I would suggest, even if here you can come and tell us that please Tiana can also, if you are suggesting a computer, okay, also suggest you can suggest what we call the properties. Say let it have 4 GB RAM, okay, 4 GB RAM, okay, maybe 8 GB, okay. Tell us that it can also maybe have 500 GB SSD or 256 SSD. Okay, try to bring out a good computer that can support those applications that you are suggesting. You get it? So that we can know that for sure you are knowing that tool. Then he cannot do that he cannot join online platforms without internet connection. We also suggest an internet connection, either using a modem, router, or a Wi-Fi, or any mobile hotspot. This one will enable Tiana, okay, to search for relevance and updating information to improve her online content. Remember the tools, we have already accessed them. Here you can say relevant information. Maybe you can suggest online, like for ChatGPT, okay, can use Canva and so on, okay. Then using search library and digital tools, journals, videos, maybe also from YouTube, and online tutorials for research. That's what internet can be helpful. And also in uploading files that is going to be shared by to the committee in the virtual meeting. Then you also need a presentation software. Here also is a tool that will enable her also to come up with a professional document to share. Here we have Microsoft PowerPoint, Google Slides, Canva, and so on, okay, which can help us to create a clear, engaging, appealing presentation, okay. And here you see, you also suggest what can make that presentation appealing. You can say animating, transition, using charts, audios, and videos, okay. Then they also talked about a printer, because you need a hard copy, okay. to mean is a hard copy. So she should use a printer to produce a hard copy for her project. Okay. Then, in other words, also save that proposal. Okay. If it's in a PowerPoint, save it as a Microsoft PDF. Got save as. Okay. We got save as and save it as Microsoft PDF. Okay. Save the type as PDF. Or download the PDF converter. Okay. And you convert the files to PDF. So you can share them to the committees. Okay. We talked about video conferencing softwares also up there for the presentation. Okay. Like Zoom, Google Meet, Skype, Microsoft Teams, and so on. Okay. Then you also had to have the speaker and microphone. That, remember, he will be presenting, so he need to speak to a large number or to a committee, so they need to hear him very well. So he needs a speaker and a microphone to improve her communication during that virtual meeting. Okay. You speak the tool and suggest how it will help her. You get it? That's how you can only achieve the point there. For part B, really, these are like few points only. Part A, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and that's part A. All right, you have suggested the tools. Okay, and you have now enabled her how he can overcome and make sure the presentation is so good. Then here we have her computer's current situation, how can be resolved. So following steps. Remember, this computer had gone and what you can call an abrupt shutdown. So when it is turning back on the Windows, all the applications that were running were not shut down. So they are in a bit of what you can call a dreadlock. Okay, how can we go away with that one? You start Windows, okay, using automatic repair. There are special keys that can help you to start Windows using automatic repair. You can go to BIOS, maybe using F9. As we are starting the operating system, click F9 continuously and you have that one. Then you choose automatic repair. Okay. Then hold. This is how you can do it if you don't know the special keys. Hold down the shift key. Okay. And then restart the computer to open the recovery environment troubleshoot options. Select display tool to fix the startup. Then select advanced mode to choose from different repair tools available. For example, the system repair, restore, command prompt, and startup settings. Then select startup repair for Windows. In case of Windows, and start scanning for the problem. Allow the system to diagnose and repair the computer. The computer might restart automatically. Okay, that is good. And if at all it fails, then should now go and install a new operating system. Stop. Then, in an effort to prevent the reoccurrence of that blue screen coming in the future, the following things should be done. Now you are suggesting what he should use to make sure at least his proposal is his computer stays in good condition. 1, should always connect to the uninterruptible power supply, so that when in case power failure goes off, it can allow it to shut down very well, okay, without corrupting the system file, which cause blue screens. Then Tiana always update the operating system. Okay, you update the operating system so as you can be fixing the bugs. Install reliable antivirus software like Microsoft Defender, okay, all Avast and Kasper Sky. Have regular hardware faults. For example, have RAM of 8 GB so that you can have SSD or hard drive, okay, so that it can a bigger one so that it can run all your programs and have all your storage very well. Okay, the computer should be raised, okay, on a base, avoid overheating, and hardware failures. So that's our item 1, and those are the responses, okay, of which we should take very well and address them. Okay, that's what you are supposed to do. We have assessed the situation, suggested the necessary ICT tools and analyzed computer